Theorists are everywhere, whether they're speculating that the Earth is flat or claiming climate change is a hoax. They're everywhere, always making themselves known. Now, there are of course many film theorists out there as well who look deeper into movies and draw their own conclusions as to what exactly is going on. While some of them make perfect sense, there are many that don't. So today on Top 5 Scary Videos, I'm going to be counting down our list of the top 5 horror movie theories that make no sense. Before we begin though, be sure to stick around until the end of the video where I'll be responding to some of your comments. And with that, let's jump in. In at 5 we have Friday the 13th series. Each film, Jason is a different person. Yes, this one is as utterly ridiculous as it sounds. The Friday the 13th franchise of course follows Jason Voorhees, a character who drowned as a boy at Camp Crystal Lake due to the negligence of the camp staff. So he seeks revenge and goes on a killing spree, with the Camp Crystal Lake rumored to be cursed. Jason is featured throughout all of the movies, either as the killer or as the motivation for the killings, because as we know in the first movie, it was Jason's mother who was donning the mask. Now, this theory states that in every single Friday the 13th movie, Jason is a different person, which makes no sense to me whatsoever. But here is the supposed evidence. According to one theorist, the biggest indication is the appearance of Jason. His height, build, and appearance changes drastically over the course of the franchise. As we know, during the first few movies, Jason appeared as more of a backwoods hermit, but then in part 3 he appeared as a muscular bald man. Very strange indeed, not to mention part 2 and part 3 were supposed to take place over the course of 2 days, so that's quite the drastic appearance change in 48 hours. Respect. Anyway, in all honesty, I just think that this was a continuity error on the filmmaker's behalf. I don't think Jason was a different person in each movie, it just makes zero sense. I just think it was a different actor, to be honest. In at 4 we have Drag Me to Hell, Eating Disorder. Now, trigger warning before we continue with this point, I will be speaking about eating disorders. Some people may find this uncomfortable to listen to. Released in 2009 and directed by Sam Raimi, Drag Me to Hell follows Christine, a loan officer who was cursed by an elderly woman after she refuses to extend the woman's mortgage. The curse results in her being tormented for 3 days before being plunged into the depths of hell for eternity. Sucks to be her. Anyway, one insane theory surrounding the movie states that perhaps the hauntings and torment Christine experiences throughout the film are just manifestations of her own eating disorder. Yep. According to this theorist, if you look more closely at the movie, you will begin to see hints to this fact. Early on in the film, Christine mentions how when she was a teenager, she was overweight and suffered from bullying and ridicule. Not to mention, a lot of the torment she suffers during those 3 cursed days involve things either going in or coming out of her mouth or the mouths of others. And to add fuel to the fire, a lot of these attacks happen while in the kitchen, with some of them even relating directly to food. I think this is a far reach, but some folks out there believe this. What do you think though? I think it's bullshit. In at number 3 we have Paranormal Activity, Deal with the Devil. Love them or hate them, the Paranormal Activity franchise is hugely successful, sparking more and more found footage horror movies. Released in 2007 and directed by Oren Peli, the movie follows a couple, Katie and Micah, who become tormented by some kind of supernatural presence in their home. So what do? They set up cameras to try and catch the entity in the act, to see what exactly is going on, and what they find and what we see is pretty damn terrifying. The demon in the home can move objects, leave messages, drag a human being, and even possess people. Now, there is one insane theory that surrounds the movie that is so unbelievable that it could never be true. This one states that director Oren Peli made a deal with the devil to help promote his film and garner popularity and success. Tracking back to what I was saying about the demon itself, in the movie it is aware that it is being filmed, even leaving messages for the couple to decipher when looking back on footage. Not to mention, it is stated that the more people fear it, the more power it has. Therefore, the exposure of the movie makes the devil more and more powerful. So perhaps Oren did make a deal with the devil, a deal that they both benefit from. That's unlikely, there's no chance of that ever being the case. But saying that, people do still question how Oren managed to achieve such rapid success, with Paranormal Activity being one of the highest grossing horror movies of all time. In at 2 we have A Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy is Nancy's dad. Yep, this one is actually insane. Freddy Krueger is Nancy's dad. Well, that's a theory that some people out there truly believe. For those living under a rock, A Nightmare on Elm Street was released back in 1984 and was directed by Wes Craven, with the movie following a group of high school students, including a girl named Nancy, whose nightmares become plagued by Freddy Krueger, a burnt killer with a bladed glove, who tries to take them down one by one. The worst part, if he kills you in your dreams, you die in real life. It's straight savagery and absolutely terrifying. Freddy Krueger is to this day one of the greatest villains in horror movie history. Now, Nancy is the protagonist of the movie that thwarts Krueger's plans and takes him down. It is revealed throughout that Krueger in real life was a child killer and he was murdered by some of the townsfolk who burned him alive. One of the people involved in his killing was Nancy's mother, who kept one of his bladed gloves in the basement. Some observed the strange connection she has with Freddy and how bizarre it was that she had a keepsake. Perhaps she had some kind of relationship with the killer. Maybe that is why Freddy targets Nancy and her friends. Maybe he is Nancy's father. It is of course ridiculous and could never be true, but it is funny to think about, that's for sure. And finally, in at number 1 we have Blair Witch, the boys killed Heather. Now this theory is absolutely insane, yet I kind of love it. But saying that, it seems absolutely ridiculous to me, which is why it holds the number 1 spot on our list. This found footage horror was released back in 1999 and directed by Daniel Myrick and Eduardo Sanchez, with the film following 3 student filmmakers, Heather, Michael and Joshua, who hike into a forest near Burkittsville, Maryland in 1994 to film a documentary about the Blair Witch, a local legend in the area. Now, like I said, the movie is a found footage horror, with it informing us that the 3 students disappeared in the woods and never returned home. And the movie we're watching is their tapes that were recovered from the woods, with the movie trying to lure people in on the belief that this was in fact a true story. It wasn't. Throughout the movie, the 3 are tormented by strange noises and goings on in the woods, with the strange ritualistic objects being hung around and screams echoing throughout the trees. Then of course Michael kicks the map into the river and the group is completely screwed. Spoiler alert for those who haven't seen the film, Joshua goes missing, with Heather and Michael searching for him. They stumble across a house in the middle of the woods and this is where the movie ends. They end up in the basement. Michael is seen standing in a corner facing away and Heather falls to the ground. The camera then drops. We have no idea what goes on. All we know is that they aren't coming out of the house alive. Now, there are many logical theories as to what went down, but one of the most bizarre that I read is that the guys lured Heather into the woods to kill her. Throughout the movie, tensions rise between the trio, with them almost physically fighting. An early draft of the script actually alludes to Heather and Joshua having some kind of romantic relationship in the past. Maybe something went wrong. We never truly do see anything supernatural in the movie. Perhaps Joshua and Michael set the whole thing up to scare her. And at the end, when Michael is stood in the corner, Joshua approaches from behind and attacks her. Who knows? I don't believe it though. I mean, at one point in the movie, an ear is left outside of their tent. Nothing quite makes sense here. I also think that it's the guy. They literally talk about it in the movie. There's the guy they talk about who took the kids to the house, and he made one face the corner and then they killed the other, unless the boys made that up. In which case, this actually could be a logical theory. Well, there we have it. Do you guys agree with our list? With any horror movie theories that we missed? Leave us all your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below, and perhaps we can do a part 2. Before I go though, I just want to respond to a few comments from one of our last videos, top 5 scary ice monsters to keep you up tonight. The Unituber said, my first wife. That's savage. Sucks for your wife. Sucks for you. Raducci said, hey Lucy, I am half Italian and half Russian, so I am dark in the summer and pale in the winter. Lol, this was a very cool and well thought out list. Thank you for coming back with very entertaining top 5. Thank you, I appreciate it. I like run-on sentences. Congrats on being half Russian. Big ups. Emmy Bazinga said, number 1 is actually the scariest ice monster of them all, Lucy's icy cold heart. I mean, you're not wrong. It is straight facts, so thank you. Rachel Shenyo said, so glad to see the Toon back on the list. That thing scared the f out of me when I read the books. Scared the f out of me when I read the book and watched the show. That thing's scary. AMB said, really? Canadian winters are scary all on their own. I once walked to school in -54 Celsius. Never did that again. Ain't that the truth? I grew up in Calgary and that was cold. Steve Duncan said, there's no way of saying this without sounding creepy, but you look very good in that outfit, Lucy. It's not creepy. I mean, it is kind of creepy, but thank you. I appreciate it. I like compliments that sound creepy. And on that note, if you haven't already, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another scary vid. Until next time, see you later. With someone observing the strange connection she has with Freddy. With someone? I like all my videos, they are very entertaining. Thank you. I don't know what the f to say to that one. Congrats on being half Russian. Big ups. Hi.
I'm half Russian.
Huh?
I'm half Russian.
Oh. Oh, big ups.